Today we take it for granted that everybody can read and write. But a free secondary education for all was achieved after the Second World War. Many men going to fight in Flanders fields had never left their own town until they joined the army. Some would have seen it as an opportunity to do their patriotic duty, but also to better themselves in society. Within days of war being declared in 1914, columns of soldiers were marching down the avenue in Southampton, bound for the docks, one of the main embarkation points for troops crossing the English Channel to France. The war was going to be over by Christmas, so they would be back before they were missed. So the story goes, 3 ladies were walking down the main road to London from Southampton, called the Avenue, when they saw some forlorn-looking soldiers on Southampton Common, writing letters in the pouring rain, using each other's backs to lean on. The women were prompted to ask the nearby United Reformed Church, now known as Avenue St Andrews, to open up a hall for the men. This began a charitable effort by the church members, volunteers, businesses and townspeople to provide the last respite for tens of thousands of departing soldiers before the trenches. The scale of their efforts has been all but forgotten until reorganisation of the church archive in 2014 unearthed a report documenting what was provided. For example, Dr. Bath was credited for donating a gallon of milk a day, and Mr. Knight being thanked for stripping his fine orchard to provide the men with vast quantities of apples. With the army struggling to feed troops stationed on the Common in Southampton, by the end of 1914, the Avenue Church Tea Committee rose to the logistical challenge of providing regular meals for hundreds of soldiers at a time. Tables were put along the avenue with portable heaters, ready to allow cups of tea to be handed to soldiers marching past. They would then drop their cups off further down the avenue, where tram drivers would pick up the cups and bring them back to the hall. The work done by the church was eventually recognised at the highest levels. Clive Wigram, Assistant Private Secretary to George V, wrote, "I am to assure you of the King's appreciation of the splendid work done in Southampton for the troops." American Consul Colonel Albert Swarm also recorded his deepest appreciation. The hall was the last English home for the multitude that used it to send a last message home before taking to the journey that led into dire battle, and for many of them to the great test of the waiting beyond.